Hey guys, how y'all doing today? It's been some awful things happening in the world today. Not that it hadn't been happening all along, but people notice more when famous people end up suffering the consequences for what was already going on. Not just in the USA, but in the world, y'all. There is really poor mental health care out here. Poor mental health avenues. We don't have enough awareness of mental health. People just don't take it seriously, y'all. When I was a kid, I had an uncle who had PTSD from being in Vietnam, and they was always committing him to the mental hospital because he was definitely a threat to my grandparents. A lot, y'all. Run him out the house, all kind of crazy stuff. And they would end up having him back in the house or having one of the other sons take care of him, as he'd get a little check every month. So that was their incentive to, quote, help him. Whether it helped him or didn't help them, at least it made my grandparents safer while he was living with their other sons. Well, be it one or the other, one at a time. But anyway, y'all, I remember going to the house knowing that if I was skinny, he would do verbal confrontation. And if I was fat, he'd say a little stuff under his breath, but he wouldn't really bother me. So, to me, it was an issue of him being mentally ill, but knowing that he didn't want to get hurt by somebody and thinking that maybe I was more of a threat if I was bigger than smaller. And I was an adult, of course, y'all. I never saw him act violently toward children. He just kind of act like they didn't exist. It's like they was invisible in his world. All his acting out was toward his own parents. Now, today, I see the same stuff happening with people being threatening and acting out violent, but not being able to do anything because of all of the mental hospitals that's been closed down and all the crisis centers that's not accessible to us anymore. Since the Ronald Reagan years, really, that's when they start closing mental hospitals. It was like throwing out the baby with the bathwater, y'all. Sure, they was doing some unnecessary electroshock therapies or whatever, but they were also serving a purpose of keeping the people safe out there, be it the family members or just the general public. Look at all of this violence that's happening out here and no explanation for it. People want to say, oh, they evil or they this or they that. Anything but saying we have terrible mental health laws here and almost no mental health care. We have sheriffs, mental health trained sheriffs in this city of Galveston. But y'all, they have certain hours that they function. And I'm serious, y'all. Certain times they function. And a person has to be a danger to themselves or others for them to take them all away for evaluation. And if the person says they all right, I mean, pretty much they let the person say they all right. And they gone about their business. Here, buddy, here's my card. Call me anytime. I mean, they just, to me, the worst trained people I've seen. It's like, how can somebody that's a layperson do psychological evaluations because of questions that they taught them through some type of class or another? Non-professional people, y'all. It just don't make no sense. And if the criteria for them taking someone is they're a danger to themselves or others, does it have to be ending up in a terminating altercation for someone? Because sometimes when they act out to be a danger to themselves or others, lots of people end up being terminated at one time through these mass, you know what's, pew-pewing, as people be saying online, or terminating people in their own families. Y'all, they have people afraid to call for their own family members. You be trying to get them some help, and they don't give us any help. And I'm saying us because I'm talking about personally. Once I had a family member acting out, and their answer was, could the other person leave so that person can cool off? So fortunately, the other person left the house, and I was praying that my house didn't get burned down. Had to end up getting whole doors repaired. Had to get my car towed away from the house because they had found a backup key and taken my car and put it in front of the house. For what reason? I don't know, y'all. They never do any good because the police think that if I go into the building when a person was acting out, trying to hurt their sibling with a hammer or whatever, if they go in there, they'll put themselves at risk, and it may escalate where they have to terminate your relative in the house, because then they become a threat to them and they're going to have to put them down. So they just leave them alone. And then when they come back, if they come back in a day or two and they seem calm, that's all it is, y'all. They just let them stay. So they never get any help. When they need to take medication or whatever, they'll take it in the hospital, and then once they're released, they will not take it again. If a person think they don't have a problem, guess what? They're not going to do nothing to solve the problem themselves. And if the criteria is danger to themselves or others, that means they'll never get any help unless they end up doing something awful that you cannot undo. I tell you, I joined an organization before that was supposed to be a support group, and the stuff that was happening to the other people was so horrible that I was like, well, I don't even want to say, because right now this person that's with me is not in crisis. And the only way you can get help is if they're in crisis enough to hurt somebody. So it's horrible. Just horrible. And listening to what other people have to tolerate with their family members, it's horrible too, because you don't know what to say. It's just, what can you say if somebody is a threat to you? You wait till they break your arm and then let them break your other arm, break your leg, break your other leg before somebody will come and do something to help you? I don't know. Well, anyway, I'm just having my say on what's going on. Have nothing to do with race. Because look at me and what's happened when in the last couple of weeks with a couple of guys eliminating their family members. It was different races, y'all. The only reason we found out about them is that they was famous, you know. That it happens to lots of people. I'm not famous. Not at all. So what happened to me? Who knows how many people are going to even see this video and have some say that is kind I'm telling you, I read the stuff of what people can do in different places, and people are trying to get things changed, but it'll take a lot more before things get better in this country. So, just right now, having my say at 72 years old, I ain't got it in me right now to be trying to uh, fight the power in the court systems and all of that. I just want to live my life and feel safe in my own house, and would like to know that if I need anybody, I can call 911 or 411, whatever, and get some mental health people out here who can just remove the person that's doing the acting out and the threatening, so they can get some help and we can be safe that's left in the house without having us to leave and just leave the other person in the house acting out. It's like, it don't make no sense, y'all. Grown people shouldn't have to live like this. Shouldn't have to be them being homeless or them ending who they living with, or you having to feel unsafe some of the times in your house with them, these grown people. No matter what you did when they was growing up, it is something faulty in their heads all along. And you couldn't get it labeled, not in this country, all them years. And even if they labeled them, all they would have done is given them drugs with the side effects of suicidal tendencies and every other thing. It only make it worse. There should be some way for people to work with these issues and for things to get better. But anyway, what do you think? Just listening, y'all, to hear what y'all think and just venting to let y'all know what's going on in this mixed up world of ours and how I feel about it. Mental health care needs to be improved in this country. We need to have access to mental health care hospitals. All those closed hospitals need to be reopened. Reopened, y'all. Brand new hospitals in the same old one's name, and have trained individuals working there, not just mental health sheriffs who've been taught little workshops on how to deal with mental illness. That's insufficient. But anyway, peace, peace. I love you all. Bye.